Hello, I have arrived. Hello Henry, hello Hisumisu, hello Hilaria, hello Shade. Immediate violence, damn Shade. Why are you so violent right at the start of the stream? Shaking my head. Anyway, hello everyone else who may or may not be looking. Violence, good. How are you guys doing? How's my little mermaid doing today? I don't know. You tell me, who is your little mermaid? Mermaid? I'm not a mermaid. Wait a minute. Is a mermaid just a partially human fish? Then I guess it would be. But I think it's more like a species, so not really. But I'm doing well. Got a little bit... What do you say, hyper-focused? Not really. But I was doing something fun again, and got a little bit distracted for a little bit too long, so I was only able to take a nap for like 5 minutes. So I might be a little bit tired, but it's fine. Well, I'm not that tired actually. It's not that bad. But usually I like to have a proper nap. I was really falling asleep. I was just resting for a couple of minutes before the stream. And the fun thing that I was working on, can you tell? You probably can't tell. It's very subtle. Let me help out a little bit, but probably even if I help out, you can't tell. Can you tell? Free lighting? Well, not really. It's not 3D, but it is lighting. I added some shadows just to be a little bit more in tune with my background. I wanted to add rim lighting as well, but I didn't like how it looked, so I didn't. But just added a little bit of background lighting, or a little bit of lighting in general. It's not very sophisticated, it's very basic, but I think it is quite a nice effect. Especially, it probably is gonna be fun with when I do display capture. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the game capture working. Because for some reason it doesn't actually, like the shader doesn't actually get the data from the game. Even though that's the entire point, to have the games like adjust according to what happens on screen. But for some reason it only works in display capture and with the background here. But the actual game capture is not working with that. Which is unfortunate, but it is fine. I will fix it at some point and find a workaround. She's obviously a lizard. No. No mermaid, no lizards here. Also, let me drink some water. So, did you miss me yesterday? Right, it was a day off. What was I doing yesterday? I think I played around with a couple of things. Oh right, I was like working a little bit on the new model, but only also just playing around because it was my day off. So I just let my ADHD take over and do whatever tickled my fancy at a given point in time. So I was doing a little bit of rigging, which doesn't make a lot of sense because the model isn't actually ready for rigging. But I wanted to test some things out because I was looking at like really good other riggers, and I got excited, and that's why I tried out a little bit. And I think I caught up on a lot of anime. I watched the new episode in Frieren and in Jujutsu Kaisen, and they were great. What was the other one? I feel like there was another one that I watched. Wait, let me check. I need to figure that out. What was it? What else is running? It wasn't... I didn't watch the new episode of Sentenced to be a Hero. That one I still have to catch up on. Oh, Hell's Paradise Season 2. Alright. That one I watched as well. Yeah. Those three, basically. That's pretty much it. Oh, and I think I was doing some organizatory things, I think. More or less. Oh, never mind, I remembered. It was dreadful. Right, so in the morning, I actually started to troubleshoot my mouse because apparently I only have 20 minutes of battery life when it is not connected. I usually use my mouse in wild anyway because I don't want it to go like empty during the stream. But usually, I would probably unplug it and use it wirelessly when I'm playing like an FPS game or something. But now, or when I'm like watching anime from my couch. But now it only lasts for 20 minutes and then it turns off, even though in the past it lasted for like 2 days or something. Well, not really, probably more like 1 day. So I thought, surely this must be some kind of firmware issue because there's no way that a battery declines that extreme from 12 hours of use to 20 minutes of use. So I tried to figure out how to install the firmware or update the firmware or reinstall it, which unfortunately was for some reason a lot more annoying than it should be. And at the end of the day it didn't help either, so that was annoying. And then, because I was already annoyed not only by the driver thing but also by Windows in general, I wanted to prepare a USB stick with a Linux distribution for potentially leaving this prison that Microsoft has created for me. And apparently the prison is much harder to escape than I thought. So I spent a bunch of time yesterday as well to figure that out because I wanted I have a USB stick that I have flashed before a bunch of times to put on like Ubuntu and stuff like that. And for some reason, it suddenly didn't work anymore. So I was using Balena Etcher I downloaded CacheOS and wanted to use Balena Etcher to just put it on the stick, and then it didn't work. And then there was some weird thing happening with Dropbox. For some reason, while I was etching the ISO file of CacheOS onto the USB stick with Balena Etcher, there were a bunch of Dropbox pop-ups for some kind of weird synchronization stuff, which didn't make any sense because Dropbox usually doesn't even start up when I start the PC. So that was already annoying. Thanks Windows for that. Probably a Windows thing. Might have been a Dropbox thing, but also Windows probably. So that was annoying. And then the etching failed so it did not actually couldn't flash onto the USB stick. So what I tried next was obviously to try and format it, because for some reason it wasn't accessible at all in general, so I couldn't actually put the ISO file on the stick. So I tried to format, and then Windows said to format it, of course, because why would I be able to format a USB stick with a simple click? That would be way too easy. So Windows couldn't format the USB stick for whatever reason. I have done it before, many times, and suddenly it stopped working. So that failed. And then, obviously the next step was to use some kind of command line tool like this part. So I went into my administrator console and tried to clean the USB stick with this part manually. So I went in and I selected the disk, and then I cleaned, and it failed. My patience was already running very thin, and for some reason it told me access denied or something. So I was in the administrator mode in the command line console, and it told me I didn't have access to the USB stick. So me already going insane, googling for help and asking AI for help, why this is happening. The next step was to figure out if it might have been set to, for whatever reason, to read only. So then I tried a couple of commands, and then I figured out it was not actually set to read only, and clearing the permissions and the attributes did not help either, and still didn't have access. Because why would I? Why would Windows allow me to escape this prison by flashing a new operating system onto an USB stick, which I have done many times before, and suddenly there's 3 things that are not working in whatever way I tried. Anyway, at that point I was already complaining in Discord as well. And what the AI told me was to install Linux and try to repair the USB stick in Linux. Which made me pretty mad, because I was trying to install Linux. So great advice. Just install Linux to install Linux. And it told me to use, and then I said, did you really just tell me to use Linux when the entire point is to install Linux, which is not working? So the AI suggested just use another USB stick to install a different Linux distribution, to then fix the old USB stick to install the Linux distribution that I wanted, instead of just saying use a different USB stick to install the thing that I was already doing. So you would think AI is getting smarter, which it is, but sometimes it really has some blind spots for actual, regular, normal person logic. So instead, I found a different solution. And one of those solutions would have been to use a low-level formatting tool, which I found in a forum. So I downloaded that, and when I tried to install it, Windows told me, you don't want to install this. Because of course, why would I want to install this if it would help me to leave Windows? Windows literally told me, I think I posted a screenshot in Discord as well. Let me find the wording. It was... Operation did not complete successfully because the file contains a virus or potentially unwanted software. So Windows telling me that it is unwanted software also made me quite mad, because I wanted it. So who are you to tell me what I want? Microsoft? How dare you? I literally downloaded it myself and told you to install it. So I literally could not install it. You know what usually happens when you try to install an exe file that is suspicious? Windows tells you, oh, warning, this is a suspicious file. Do you really want to install it? And then I click on more, and then I say, yes, please install it anyway. But this time, Windows just said no. It didn't even give me the option to install it anyway. It just said, no, you don't want this. Don't do it. So then... After my first 4 options failed, there was another one, and the final option was to get a different bootloader / ISO file storage thing, and it is called Ventoy. And Ventoy was the thing that finally worked. Not only did it work like generally, like it immediately successfully formatted the USB stick without any issues at all, even before I tried to put the Linux ISO on it. So yeah, thanks for ruining my day off, Microsoft. What a huge waste of time. Let me catch up on chat. Just stopping by to say hi. I'm tired. How is the my queen? Well, I'm fine. Like it wasn't that bad. It made me pretty mad, like slightly mad. I wasn't actually going insane, but it's also it was very, very annoying. And 93 and 3 Gezako, what a legend. Look away, and little Michael. You don't have access to this, Ari. I own you. Yeah. My tablet speed too fast that the Notepad Windows app can't even respond. Thanks, Microsoft. That little Ari crash out, yeah. Please get rid of that crap ASAP. So I'm actually still hesitant. I haven't installed it yet. I don't have a lot of space on my hard drives, so it's gonna be hard to actually partition it in a way that it runs properly without having to do like weird cleanup and risky operations. So it's a little bit annoying. I don't want to actually like dual booting is always an option, but I don't really have that much space. But I guess I do for like initial testing. But it's gonna be such a big thing to go like and transition everything, and there's a risk that it actually won't even work, because there might be some programs that I genuinely cannot use on Linux that I actually need. But yeah, I'm not sure. At least I have the USB stick prepared, so if I ever get a motivational boost by the insanity that is Windows, I would probably just make the jump. But also I don't really have a lot of time to actually do that, so it's also annoying. I would have to take an entire day for that. Maybe I'll do it on Sunday. That's crazy, can't imagine my OS doing that, yeah. He will not do this right now, no. 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 Maybe when I want, but only maybe. Yeah, it is kind of insane. Like even older Windows, like not even older versions of Windows, like Windows 10 or Windows 7 or whatever. Like even in Windows 11, I could have never imagined this happening. Like I'm pretty sure when Windows 11 was new, I also did some dual booting and like USB flashing and stuff like that. So I have no idea. Like Windows 11 seems to fall apart at an incredibly rapid pace, and things get harder and harder and more convoluted. Like Microsoft is really, like they are unhinged at this point. Actually, there was one more thing. Well, like it wasn't yesterday specifically, but there was another thing that annoys me. Actually, two more things. One of them, you can literally not uninstall OneDrive from your Android phone for some reason. I didn't even know that I had OneDrive on my Android phone, and I think I might not even had it, because I had this phone for like 7 years, maybe even 8. I don't exactly know how long I had it. I had it for a long time. I think it's 8 years. And I never ever had a pop-up from OneDrive. And recently, like a couple of weeks ago, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, I got some weird synchronization from OneDrive, and then immediately decided to uninstall it. And when I did, it actually did let me uninstall it. So I pressed uninstall on the OneDrive thing, and then a couple of days later, it was just there again. And now I can't actually uninstall it. So I don't know if I was hallucinating or something, because when I looked it up, everything basically pointed to the fact that you cannot uninstall OneDrive at all. Alright, there was also the time where my phone restarted for no reason. Like, it never does that. Like, my phone restarted, and after that I got the OneDrive thing. So I think that I had like a software update or like a operating system upgrade for Android, which then forced OneDrive to be there, and now I can't uninstall it at all. And that obviously is very annoying as well, because I don't want to use that shit on my phone, which is not even a Windows phone, because somehow Microsoft made it into Android devices. And then the next thing, I was using Clipchamp for like small editing things, because it's usually easier to just jump into Clipchamp when I want to edit an already existing video file without like starting DaVinci Resolve and doing like a bunch of rendering stuff. Clipchamp is usually easier to do quick edits and resizing and cropping and stuff. And now, the other day on Monday, I think, when I started Clipchamp, it actually popped up with OneDrive integration. So now Microsoft tries to force OneDrive for Clipchamp editing because it wants to synchronize the video files that you are editing. I'm losing my goddamn mind. It is so annoying. I'm so mad. Like, and even if you want to use it locally, there's some weird thing going on that it uses an online connection for editing, so it edits the files online, and then you have to synchronize it to local, even though you're using a local file, doing local editing. So somehow the in-between files that you are editing go into the cloud. And then you have to sync it back down. It is so dumb. I hate it so much. And I even know why they are doing this. Because a while back, this has been like a couple months ago even, I was running out of space. And I didn't know why. My C drive was just filling up at a rapid pace. And when I investigated, I posted that on Discord too, that has been a long time ago. When I investigated, I found that Clipchamp... Oh, I have to look this up again. It had like 100 gigabytes or something of temporary files for no reason. in app data temp folders. So that is probably why they are now outsourcing the in-between files that are just the utter garbage. And they don't even need to be retained at all. Like, they could literally just clean them up after you close the application. But that's probably one of the reasons why they want to use OneDrive integration, so that all these files, all these in-betweens go into the cloud. And I have a feeling that they are doing this because they want to train a video AI model or something, because like, why are they pushing OneDrive so much if they are not trying to train some kind of AI model on it? Like, that would be the only explanation for it. There's literally no reason to force everyone to use some weird cloud system thing. So yeah, that is my mental currently. Getting driven insane by Microsoft. Which also extends to even more stuff, like Minecraft, for example. I have to buy Minecraft again because I can't use my other account, my private account, because there's no family sharing, and two, there's no way, like, you can't hide your name. Like, if I stream Minecraft, I'm literally doxing myself because it's on the Microsoft account, and there's like this weird other Minecraft account. I would have to rename the Minecraft account, and it still kind of shows your Microsoft account for some reason. Like, I don't know. It is all like an utter nightmare. Like, you have no idea. I know most of my viewers use Linux, which is kind of surprising. I thought when I play like games and stuff and people come in, there would be a lot of Windows users, but I feel like 90% actually use Arch. 90% of all people that watch me use Arch or something. So I'm the only one suffering in my prison. It's awful, so many services and they all just gobble up your data more and more, yeah. I need to... By the way, am I slow on you? I feel like I'm a little bit sluggish today. Maybe not. Because I did introduce a bunch of new shaders and stuff, so I might actually lag. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. We probably will run into issues if we play games and stuff. We'll see when it comes to that. But the shadows that I'm using shouldn't be too impactful, I don't think. Some people just cannot be convinced to switch to Linux. Yeah, because there's a lot of issues. Like, I actually did all of that after I watched a video that talked about the issues that you run into when you want to switch. Which is funny, because you would think that it strengthens my resolve to not switch. But I was watching Linus Tech Tips Linux Challenge thing, podcast thingy, and he was saying that the moment he switched, he was running into issues when playing games that are pretty old and should be supported out of the box and stuff. So it's not like it's unfounded. Like, people just want to use their PC without thinking about it. And on Linux, you can't really do that. Which I don't really mind. What I mind is that there's no support for the applications that I actually need. Like, half my applications that I need on a daily basis are actually not natively supported by Linux at all. Like Live 2D, Cubism, and VTuber Studio. And then there's a bunch of games you can't play, so you would probably run into issues with a lot of games. And there's a streamer that is annoying as well, because every time you start up a game, there's a chance that it will crash just because you're on Linux. And then you have to search for like launch options and compatibility settings and stuff like that. So it makes sense. Like, I wish it wasn't like that. I wish Linux was like an actual alternative that works without having to fix everything. Like, if I wasn't a VTuber, I would switch in a heartbeat. Although I probably would have already switched. Like, before I started streaming, I also thought about switching already. But there's a lot of games I played back then with my friends that use like kernel level anti-cheat and stuff like that, like multiplayer shooters. So that helped me back as well. Because that stuff is still not working and will probably never work. Like games like Valorant and Riot games in general, League of Legends, which I don't really play and never really did. But my friends do. Yeah, PUBG, Call of Duty, stuff like that. I'm not sure how well supported they are currently, but all of the multiplayer games usually with anti-cheat running to that. I'm having no trouble playing games that run on Windows from 2000s. Yeah, it is funny though, because the first game he started was Left 4 Dead 2. Which you would think, a game by Steam, who has literally their own operating system that is based on Unix, or Linux or whatever, Steam OS, you would think that Valve would have updated that game to work out of the box on Linux. I have no problem running games from Steam. Yeah, just that it. But it depends on the game. Depends on the game. Did you play Valorant? Probably not. Yeah, I hope I can. I hope I can switch without issues. I think I will on Sunday. On my other day off. I might try to set up Cache OS. Alright, let me drink some more water. So what else? What else? What else is there to talk about? So Steam Next Test is over. That's a thing. What are the most played demos? Let's actually check the charts real quick. Let me go into display capture and back to my corner. Thank you for that, pets. Yeah, that's a good position, I think. So display capture, look at that. I'm dark at all. I feel like I should probably adjust it a bit. 1 second. I think there's still a couple issues with the way I set it up. I think I'm a little bit dark sometimes, but if I increase it a lot, I will be glowing too much when the screen is bright. But I think it's fine. Steam Next Test. Princess outfit. Damn, 3 minutes. 3-minute Princess Quarry. Oh god, yeah, I'm drawing way too much. What the hell? Let's go back down. I'm blue, even more blue than usual. You. I guess it is still kind of bright. Definitely need to fine tune that somehow. I think I can. Maybe I should play around with it more a little bit. What if I reduce this a bit? 1 second. And then bring this back up. Is it better or worse? I think I put that to, yeah. That seems good. I think that works. So if I switch to Google now. Google, classic. I guess it's fine if I'm dark when the screen is actually dark, but I feel like it shouldn't be that way too much. Might be a bit much. It's fine, it's fine. Santa head again. Maybe I should increase the price of the Santa head or at least reduce the amount of time because I feel like it's... Or maybe I should only enable it with if it's actually Christmas. Seems a little bit too out of season. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring down the lighting some more. Oops. Why do I always turn blue? I know why, because it's 3 different color channels that I have to adjust. I think that's fine. But anyway, you can see now that the screen is reflected onto my face a little bit, depending on what color and stuff there is. which is a little bit weird sometimes, but yeah, I retweak it all the time. Alright, let's see what the actual charts were. Yeah, I think it might be too extreme. I have to adjust it some more. But we keep it for today, and then in the boards I can review it. So, the most played games, 50 most played demos of February 2026. Marathon, which was an open data weekend, so that one is kind of cheating. And then Building Gnomes, which was at the top of the charts the entire time, which is very surprising, because that game is super scuffed. I didn't play it on stream, but I played it with off stream with some friends. And it is the most scuffed game ever, but it was a lot of fun too, so I guess deserved, kinda. And then Windrose is some kind of Sea of Thieves style game, I think. Definitely looks really cool. Not something that I would want to play on stream, probably. Although it does look very cool. I feel like it's a game that you have to play with friends. Well, you don't have to, but I feel like it would be a waste to play it alone. Unless you're like open to run into other people on servers and stuff, but I'm not sure how it works. Vampire Quarrels, I kinda expected this to be on top anyway, because Vampire Survivors was such huge hit that it's not surprising at all that this one would also deliver. It's a dungeon crawler again. We also mentioned this on stream before. Then Far Far West, that is actually what I played again with my friends offline as well. Very, very, very polished and insane amount of content for a demo. So if you want to play a multiplayer shooter, I probably could also play it alone. I think it's gonna be fine alone as well. But I would recommend that for sure. That was one of the best demos I played. But not on stream. But that one, maybe I do want to jump in on stream as well. Because that was incredible. Like, that is actually really cool. Pretty cool FPS shooter, arcadey action FPS shooter with cool abilities and combos and stuff. Outboard is basically Are We There Yet, but with base building. Wonderworld was a lot of fun, we played that. Everything is Crab, obviously, my favorite demo that we played on stream. Archeron, I think it's more like an open beta because that is an action RPG with an extraction mechanic. PvP Battle Royale extraction ARPG type shit. So yeah. Gotta go classic friend swap. Yeah, I think most of these we kind of saw already when browsing. How many dudes we played? Is it a VR game? No. Interesting. Bench Attack we also played. Unfortunately, it didn't work with my controller because I keep getting new issues with things that I had for a long time. Damn, that's it. Oh, Loopound we played too. That was very cool too. Like inventory management. Damn, so most of the games we played on stream didn't even make the top 15. That is definitely surprising. I would have thought that Firestarters and what else? What was my top 5 again? Oh yeah, Island Tiles and Divinum, Peregrino. I'm surprised that none of them are in the top 50. That's crazy. Oh, I hate this switch. Why do I only sometimes find the correct docs when I search for them? I know I can just switch, but if I search for the 4.4 docs, then why does it always find the latest ones instead? Google, another thing that it is getting worse every day. Damn, I'm so dark on a gray background. Maybe it is too heavy. How would I make it more subtle? I don't even know. Again. Wait 1 second. Put back to 1. Then that. And then that. That did not help much. This is gonna make it more visible on this. Let's try this. Yeah, this should be fine. I think it's fairly subtle. Test. Scheme, next test. Let's start it again. I guess it's a little bit bright still. On like bright backgrounds. Yeah, I'll tweak it after the stream. It's fun for now. Okay, game development hall. Back to game dev. Here we are again. Been a couple days, but we are back for Itagi. So last time we were working on Meganom's final boss phase for a couple days already, and the last time specifically we made him move around on the right side of the screen after entering the final phase, and he's gonna push the player back with some kind of turbulence or water current after he gets into the final phase, which I think should be on the first weak spot hit. Yep. Then we get pushed back and have to swim against the current to get to him, which I think feels okay. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is that the player is not visible. So you kind of disappear in the screen on the left. So I think when you transition, people will not understand what's going on. So we have to adjust the left border of the screen during the final phase so people don't get lost. That actually bounce on the side. I think that is probably what we're gonna start with before we get into the actual attacks and stuff. Then we also have to make the current visible and stuff. The movement is based on random points that he just tries to get to currently, so sometimes it feels a little bit erratic. But I think that's fine. If he's gonna attack with like bullet hell attacks and throwing fish at us, mini gnomes or piranhas, I think it's gonna be different. Does he still have a hitbox? No. Maybe he should have. There, let's write it down. Close this. And then... So there will be... Meganom hitbox. And then the next week's sport, I think we are definitely gonna do. So then it doesn't need to be a question mark. And then the next thing will be... left border. push in left boundary. I think that's what we do first. What is layout mode 2? I don't know. The Guru is doing that stuff again. It's fine. So the world boundary, I'm not entirely sure how we did that. I think we just check based on the screen dimensions where the player is. So that should be in the actual player script, I think. Out of bounds margin. X position, visible rect size, X, out of bounds margin. So it's the same for all of them. So we probably just have to introduce different variables for each. And adjust it only for the X value on the left. So we should have let's rename it to boundary margin, and then we do 4 of them, and then it's gonna be, actually, could I do a vector 4? Is there vector 4s? Like, yes, there is. So let's do boundary margin vector 4. What are the values of a vector 4? X, Y, Z, and then W, X, Y, Z. Is the first one a W? No, X, Y, Z, W. That's good. Why is it listed first then? I guess because it's becoming like alphabetical. X, Y, Z, W. It's kind of weird to do it that way. Because I don't know what the first one would be. Like, we can't really do. No, let's do differently. I don't think we can do a vector 4. It would be kind of cleaner. It would also be very confusing. So there would be left, right, up, down. And then if X is larger than size X minus margin, I think that is the left side. So this is gonna be boundary margin left. But is it the other way around? It's fine. Whatever. Left. And then this is down. This should be... Wait, no, never mind. It's the other way around because it's negative. So it's right, up, left, down. Just a little quick. Don't want any breaking changes on the refactor. Yeah. Okay. And then we are going to put it into a separate function. This will be... Is the input direction used anywhere else? Yes. So it would be a function called... Wait, not more. Function boundary inputs updates input direction, and then I guess I should call it something else. Oh, I think I know what we'll do. First of all, let's make a variable for the screen size. Is it being used anywhere else? Okay, never mind, we don't need it then. Well... let's say screen rect vector 2 equals get visible rect size size. Use that instead to make it easier and more clean. And then the if statement is what we are going to put into the other function. So this will be get is in boundary. No, get is out of bounds. And this will get... doesn't even need the input direction? No. Nuts. So get is out of bounds. And then we put it here. Return. We'll also say is get is out of bounds. Guess it could make that generic for anyone, but it's fine. So this will be is out of bounds equals we need it. Let's yes we do. Isn't it supposed to work like that? Why is it complaining? Do I have to put backslashes? Okay. Vector 2? Wait, what? Oh, it's complaining up here! There we go. Could not resolve. Wait, could not resolve player. There's no player. And this thing, it's just position. Or the screen size. Just call it bounds, probably. Guess I could call it boundary size. Would probably be cleaner. Yeah, boundary size. Probably don't even need to say get. Let's just call it is of bounds. Although that's usually naming convention for actual booleans. Can we just call it out of bounds? Probably. And then put it there, I guess. It's a better rules. I guess it could just return like that. Probably easier. Then right, up, left, down. I kind of just want it get. Yeah. Test it real quick again, just to make sure that nothing broke. Also, I completely forgot. I'm supposed to be here. Here. Oh. Okay, it is working. So now we can just override this function. And say minus plus. Oh. Oh, can we just add the turbulence value? That would be sick. I think we can, because the turbulence is exactly the amount we need to not be out of screen. Depending on where the turbulence comes from. Wait, we have to add that to everything, or... in case it comes from a different direction. And then here it's minus. Wait, is it always plus? Wait, let me think it through. Boundary right. X. Oh, the turbulence. Well? No, it's just an X value, so I do need to take the X value. And I need to normalize it. Otherwise, no, wait. I need the length. I need the length of the vector. What is that? Vector to size? What does it have? Why can't I search? Length. Yeah, it is just length, I think. So it's gonna be, let's call it offset. Turbulence offset equals gameplay turbulence length is it like that or like that? Test vector 2 1. Why do I keep writing vector 2 as length? Okay, it is a function. Let's just say offset because it's local anyway, it doesn't matter. So if we are on the left, it checks if we are right of the bounds x minus margin right, which is a plus because it's negative, and the bounds are on the right side. So that is the right boundary. If the turbulence is pushing us to the left, the offset would be further to the right. Oh my god, wait, let's check the left one, that is probably easier. So we are outside the screen on the left. So we are checking at minus 100. But what we are supposed to be checking is 0 in that case. So we add the offset. If we are on the right, we technically don't have to do anything in that case. But if you want to push it at the same direction, it would be further to the right. But what's the point of that? I feel like we shouldn't check that at all. If yeah, it doesn't make sense. We do need the direction as well. Because the entire boundary needs to shift by that value. Yeah, so let's actually take the entire turbulence. And then how would you add the vector though in one dimension? I would have to push it. I would have to get a vector and then push it of the original, but we have 4 different values. And I can't just take the corner values. I guess it doesn't matter because we would push the y. Yeah, we would push the y value by y. And the other ones by x. This one. I think that is it. Let me take the turbulence twice to give a little bit more playroom. Okay, now it's normal because the turbulence aren't active. Now the turbulence is active. We are further to the left. Did I have to... It up and down seems correct. Yeah, I think it is the wrong way. So it will be minus on each because the turbulence is already negative. Oops. Missed him. There we go. It looks stupid, but it is working. How's it on the light? I guess I can't go further outside now because they're being pushed back. Yeah. And top doesn't matter and bottom doesn't matter. I guess you should have some thing that only pushes us if we're not already at the boundary, because that looks pretty dumb. And annoying. So let's actually take this times 3. No, I think 2 is fine. And then I do want a different variable. Is out of bounds. Let's do it like that. Return is out of bounds. And then we are not out of bounds if actually, no, the turbulence should not apply while we are out of bounds. So we should do... Huh. It also would make it weird because we could go along the sides and not get hit by the turbulence. I guess you would have to check if we are aligned, like if we are out of the border that is affected. So we'd have to check where the player is. Based on the turbulence. So the player gets pushed to the left. If he reaches the left boundary, it will say out of bounds and push him back. And then he's no longer out of bounds, so it flips over again. So we have to not only set a flag to disable the turbulence, but also maybe shouldn't make it return the value and actually have a consistent out of bounds value. So there would be var is out of bounds. And then we just update that. And then we don't call it get, we call it update out of bounds. And there, Maybe we should also track how far out of bounds the player is to be able to add a threshold, like a threshold. I guess I do need a new leaderboard version as well. So it would be here. And then it would be updates, out of bounds. And then it would be that. What's happened? Statement after expected end statement after expression. Oh. Not declared. This is update. Call update early, and then if is out of bounds. What happened now? Offset not declared. Oh. Right. It won't have the offset. Yellow. And then use a try catch. There are no try catches in Megudo. It failed. And then and then what? Good luck. Pew pew. Thank you, CJ. Thank you for that, pets. So let me drink some water. So we get pushed out of bounds by the turbulence. And if we are out of bounds, the turbulence should stop. But there needs to be a period, a grace period between the boundary pushback before the turbulence applies again. Is this C++? No, this is GD script. Specific, like a engine-specific language. Similar to Python and C#. Something between Python and C#. What the flip? Yeah, it's Godot's game engine scripting language. Do you have to manage your own memory? Nope. You do not. It is garbage collected. Thank God, yeah. Would not enjoy that. managing your memory. So 28. So 2008. Well, Unreal Engine still uses it. C++, I mean. So, you know. I think memory management is still in trend. Still very much in use in many aspects. Okay, so the turbulence should turn off. Where do we even apply the turbulence to the player? I forgot. I need new logic, obviously. Update target position. That is what I needed. So, effective turbulence is gonna be gameplay turbulence, and then this is gonna be effective turbulence, and then vector 2. I don't know why I keep missing the R visually. And this will be. We could also make it so it's lower the further away you are. That would be interesting. But for now, let's just put it to 0 when we are at the boundary. So if out of bounds, effective turbulence equals vector 2, 0. I wrote vector again. Why? What is happening? Is my brain degrading at a rapid pace from all of the shenanigans that or the torture that Microsoft put me through? Now my brain is decaying. Can't even type normal words anymore. Okay, so it turns off a little bit, so it's not as spasm. Never mind, it is still spasming out. Is it even turning off? Is the question. It is not. Because it can't actually turn off. Well, it is. It's pushing you back more because. Yeah, I think I get it, kinda. Because you're not actually, like, you're only out of bounds for a very, very short amount of time because you get pushed back immediately. That's why we need the threshold. But how do we add the threshold? Out of bounds needs to be tracking how far out of bounds we are. So it should be boundary distance. So it's bounds distance x and y. No, bounds distance right, up, left, down, and that is position x larger. So it's position x minus bounds x minus, it's all of this. So position x minus bounds x minus margin right minus offset. And if position x is larger than the right side, we are out of bounds, which means it is negative. x minus boundary margin y minus offset x. Oh, so if it's positive, we are out of bounds. So if bounds distance right larger 0, and then this is gonna be minus as well. It's so position y minus bounds y, and then if bounds distance up allowed to 0, and then this one, this position x smaller 0 plus. Why is there even a 0? I guess it makes it easier to think of it, but the 0 is completely unnecessary. 0 plus doesn't do anything. It would be if it was 0 minus, but that's not the case. So boundary margin left minus like boundary margin left. Yeah, that's 100. Minus 100. So if it's smaller, minus 100. So if the position is minus 101, so this needs to be plus. And then if bounds distance left smaller 0. Also make these all into variables. And then this is with plus as well. And then it is distance down smaller 0. Let's first check if that is working the way I think it does. Just to make sure again that we don't break anything and keep working on false assumptions. Oh my, check the boundaries first. It is already not quite correct, I think. Because we were able to go outside before. And now we can't. We're also getting pushed to the right for some reason. But it is half working. I don't know why it's so weird. Like, why is it pushing us to the right? If we're out of the top boundary. There. Position X. Let's remove this for a second because I have a feeling this will interfere, and then remove the offsets as well. There you go. There's a warning. What is that? Oh yeah, also declare but never use, that's on. It is still pushing us to the right. How is that even possible? Oh, never mind, I'm stupid. That is supposed to happen. It pushes us to the center of the screen. But it's pushing way too early. City Ari. Classic. Like what it is. Definitely feels weird. Like this. Why did I not notice this when it was outside? And why is the boundary margin not applying properly? So position X. Let's say you are on the right side, which is screen size, so 2560. Minus bounce X, which is 2560. So it's 0. Minus boundary margin right is minus 100. So it is incorrect. We don't need to add or subtract that. We have to do bounce distance right. No, that's not correct either. Well, yeah, we have to just subtract the bounds. I think. Hey, what happened here? Oh, because it's 0. So the distance to the left is just the X position. The distance to down is just the Y position. Distance up is the boundary subtracted from the Y position, and distance right is the boundary subtracted from the that doesn't make sense. And then here we do if the distance to the right boundary at position X minus bounce X. So if you're all the way to the right, it is 0. If you're behind it, it is positive. If you're left of it, it is negative. So if it's larger than the margin, you're out of bounds. If this is larger than the margin, where's 0, 0, top left? I think. Larger than the top margin. And then smaller than the bottom margin. And left. And smaller than boundary margin. Down. Right, up, left, down. So for the other ones, it's a bit. So the distance from the left boundary is the X position. But it's bottom left. And bottom left is the 0, 0. Because the distance from the bottom boundary is the Y position. Is it opposite to how the UI works? Might be. Yeah, if Y position smaller, 0 plus margin down. Or did I mix it up? Oh, it's fine. So this should be the old behavior now. I think the names might just be wrong. Not the actual logic. Yeah, that seems correct. Oh, never mind, this is not correct. It is the other way around then. Let's double check. Good old viewport 0. Good old... The zero coordinates of our screen is at the top right corner of your top left. But is it for UI only? Where is 0 in 3D? World. Top left corner. So it would be distance from right minus x, distance from down minus y, distance right and then distance up, and then this is right, boundary right, this is up, margin up, this is left, margin left, this is down, margin down. Wait, what? If the distance right is larger than the margin right, yes. If the distance to down is larger than the of the distance to up is larger than the boundary up. Am I okay? The distance to up is the y position. That should be down, right? Down larger than down. The distance to down which is the y position minus the boundary. It should be 0. And positive when you're overshooting it. So larger than the margin down. Okay. And then left, smaller than the margin left, because it's 0. But if the margin down is positive, I'm getting so confused. So the distance to the down boundary is the player's position y minus the screen size in y, which is 0 when you are on the edge. So if you go further down, it would be positive. But the margin is a negative value. So it would be minus. And if the distance left is smaller than the margin left, distance left is the x position, so if it's 0, it's smaller than the margin left, which is minus 100. Yes. And distance up, which is the y position. Smaller than the margin down. So y position is 0 when you're on the boundary. If you overshoot it, smaller than minus 100. This should be fine then. Surely. Okay, that is the old behavior. Perfect. So now we save that. And apply it. Should I even put it on the old logic? I think the old logic does just need it to be the old one without the distances, because that will just invite bugs. So let's keep it the same in the old one. What did we change? We only had one boundary margin. I guess you don't even have to change that. Yeah, I think we don't, because we can set these based on the original. Like, they don't change. What am I doing? I don't even need that. Why am I making it so complicated? So the old one was boundary is no out of bounds margin. Out of bounds margin. Which are all the same values. Okay. And then here we do the same because they don't change. Larger than 100. It's so weird that I have to invert them now. Like that. As if I subtracted the player position from the boundary instead. So it would be bounds x minus player position. If we are on the boundary, it is 0. If the player is past the boundary, it would be negative. So it would be smaller than the regular value. And then we invert this. Yes. Except it's weird. Because if the bounds distance is smaller than the margin, it should be larger. Like we should invert all of that, technically. But then again, the out of bounds margin is already... Okay, let's actually fix that in the order as well. So it should be larger than the margin. And then we set the margin to a positive value. Because obviously this is what it should be. And then we invert these. For plus, and then these are minus. And we can remove the 0 as well. easier to read this way. Because it's the equivalent of the boundaries. So bounds plus margin larger, bounds plus margin larger. 0 minus margin smaller, 0 minus margin. Okay, that is way easier to read. Okay. And then do a final test in both versions, and then we apply the offset from the turbulence. Why is the turbulence? Okay, something is wrong. No! Did I break the old one? Did I not save it? Let's actually test the old one. I think the new one is broken. Test the old one. Surely it didn't change anything wrong. Surely. Yeah, the old one is working perfectly. Okay. Hello, Whitbox. Thank you for the 35 stream streak. Good job. Okay, so now bounce distance right. Let's call it distance to right boundary because it's easier to read. Which is the boundary minus the position. So if the player is all the way on the boundary, it would be 0. If he's past the boundary, it's minus 100. So if the... wait. Minus 100. Should I just take the absolute value? No, we need to know if we are... Could I? I'm a really useful lurker. Thank you, Bitbox, for always lurking. Lurkers, welcome. Shout out to all the lurkers. You're doing well. You're good boys. Yeah, you are. What a good boy. What a good boy. We can also call it relative position, like the relative position to right boundary. Because distance to right boundary would be a positive. This is just bounds relative x. Let's call it right boundary relative x. And then bounds x minus position. The relative x would be why is it so hard to wrap my head around this? The streamer brain. Like if the player, like, the setup 0 point is top left, so the player is on the right, he's on the right boundary, bounce x is the size of the width of the screen basically. So bounds minus player position is 0. If the player is here, bounds minus player position is positive. So if he's at 0, bounds minus player position is the bounds. So the entire width. If he's past the boundary, it is a negative value. So if he's 100 steps past the screen, it is negative 100. So the bounds distance or the wide boundary relative x is smaller than negative 100. I thought I just turned it around. If I switch them, so we subtract the position, so we subtract the boundary from the position, the player would be here, so it would be plus 100. So it would be larger than the out of bounds margin. I think it's because you just flipped the margin in general, and I somehow forgot to flip these around again. But I thought I flipped them specifically because we changed it to minus. Maybe I lost track. No, we're still being pushed. Position x minus bounds x. So if we are here, minus the boundary, it's 100. Player position minus the boundary, 100. If it's larger than 100, relative x larger 100. Position x larger bounds x plus out of bounds margin. Player position x larger the boundary plus the margin. Player minus bounds x larger than the margin. I feel like it should be correct. Wait, is the other one broken? Let's rename the tool. That is top boundary relatives y. No. What? Top. No, bottom boundary relative y is the player position minus the y boundary. So if you overshoot by 100, it's plus 100. So plus 100 larger than 100. Then you are out of bounds. And then the bound, this will be left boundary relatives x, which is the position minus 0 of the negative 100, which would be player position smaller negative 100. That's why. Why is it throwing an arrow? Oh, the name. And then this is top boundary relative 1. Top boundary relative 1. Smaller minus margin. You could just add a little label to display the text true false, so it might be easier to debug. It is easy, I'm just stupid. I can't think straight on stream, is what's happening. It should be easy. It's like one of the easiest things ever. There we go. It's working now. Perfect. And then... So now when the relative x is positive, you're on the right side of the screen. And if it's negative, wait, no, position minus the bond. Yeah, if it's negative, you're on the left side. If it's positive, you're on the right side. The relative y, if it's positive, you're below. If it's negative, you're above. Relative x is if it's positive, you're on the right. If it's negative, you're on the left. Top boundary, if it's positive, you're below. If it's negative, you're up. So if the relative values are negative, you're outside the screen. And if they are positive, you are inside the screen. Which means the effective turbulence is shutting off when when all the values are when any of the values are below 100 or whatever the threshold value will be. So first of all, get all of these on top. Put them to 0. And then we checked it. No, we have to check only the value that is relevant to the current turbulence direction. So if the turbulence is blowing from the right, we only have to check relative x on the left boundary. No, when the turbulence blows to the left, we have to check the left boundary. When the turbulence comes from top right to bottom left, we have to check the left and bottom boundary. So we check the direction of the turbulence. I guess, yeah, okay, I think it's fairly simple. We can do if effective turbulence x smaller 0, then we check the left and left boundary relative x smaller the boundary margin. Because the relative x is positive when we're inside, and the boundary margin is 100. So if it's smaller than the margin, the turbulence should turn off. Let's see if this works, and then we add the other ones. I haven't even decided if I want to add directional turbulence. Currently it's only from the right anyway, so this should already do it. There we go! Easy! We are not getting pushed while on the left, only getting pushed when we move to the right. Now we may get fade out. Slightly. Well, maybe not, maybe not. We just take the margin times 2. And now we do the same for the elbows. So that's gonna be effective turbulence larger, and then the y is smaller, y larger. Now it's right, bottom, left, top. Right, bottom, left, top. Right, bottom, left, top. So the effective turbulence is positive x. We check the right boundary. If it's smaller than 0, which means if the y is smaller than 0, it blows upwards to check the top. So this should be larger. And then this is smaller 0, we check the left. And then y smaller 0, we check the bottom, the top. And then we do what is it again? Oh, if the right boundary is smaller, the margin, which is gonna be the threshold. Let's call it turbulence threshold 200. Turbulence threshold. Bottom boundary relative x not declared. Oh, relative 1. And top boundary relative 1. And if any of them are true, but how can that be true? If x I guess it's only 4 directions, then it's either up, down, left, right. But what if it's not like that? Oh, we only set the turbulence. Okay, we only set the X to 0. Then we set the Y to 0. We set the X to 0. And then we set the Y to 0. And then we make these all floats. Or is that the only one complaining? Expected end of statement after expression found literal instead equivalent. And then tested. What is that? Offset number used. Wait, if we do this and disable the turbulence, we don't need the offset anymore. Do I even need to override this then? Because we could just set the relative boundaries before we update the thing. So we could just put that here. And not override this at all. Why is it complaining now? Oh, it's not declared. Oh. What is this for? What does the other one do? Out of bounds, margin. Do we even... When is this scored? Right after it sets the boundary size? I guess it is in poses as well, so it doesn't really matter. So we could just score super, and then all of this. We could have said, like, I didn't have to do any of this. What a waste of time. Why is it not calling it? Why is it suggesting it very shortly and then it immediately goes away? The autocomplete is breaking. Could also probably just take this and pass it to the target position. So didn't even have to refactor it at all. I love wasting time. How leaderboard, we don't refactor at all. We wrote everything we did in the last 2 hours. And then put it there. And Radiant will welcome. And then the boundary size goes into the update target position. Actually, let's put this into function update effective turbulence. And then we give it a effective turbulence up there. Which is updated somewhere else. Let's say func get effective turbulence. Which then gets these. No, it's update. Update effective turbulence. And then that is gonna update that. Get it from the gameplay. We set it. And then we say upgrade effective turbulence. Or we do make a get. And then we say get effective turbulence. We don't update it. And then we return it. Like that. Then we don't need it on top. And then uh-oh. This would be position X minus bounds. And then we just put the bounds as a variable. It's gonna be a vector 2. And then we update it based on the viewport. And then we can just use it here. Let's make some balls to make it a little bit thinner. within pounds. No. Inside left boundary. Which is position x minus boundary size at x smaller to the threshold. Wait, is it right? No. Where's the relative? Oh, okay. So we just need the turbulence threshold and then position x minus boundary size x. Let's call it x, no, within within safe zone right bottom left top should be the entire thing. It could be. It's weird. I'm not maximizing for readability. It's just gonna be like this. Boundary size y. And then we put brackets around. Put it on a new line. Like this. And then do the same for those. There we go. Surely. Left relative, that's position x, that's position y. There we go, way easier. Let's see if it actually works. Probably not, but you know, there's a chance. Did I just teleport? Or am I just blind? Yeah, I think I'm blind. Look at that! It's actually working. That's crazy. It's so much easier too. Oh. So now we can actually add different directions for the turbulence. So if we go to gameplay turbulence, wait, where's it set? From the walls? Yeah. If we make this from minus 80, minus 80, then it would come from top right, bottom right, and push us up top left. Alright? Yeah, it should push us top left when we activate the boss. And then we should stand on this corner if we don't move. Would you look at that? Although I gotta say, that is kind of strong. We have to normalize the direction. Do not interfere with diagonal movement. Okay. So turbulence velocity should be normalized. No. Let's say turbulence direction, turbulence strength, and then this will be vector. No, this won't be vector. This will be nodes, which is gonna be 18, and the direction is gonna be -1. Can you normalize this right here already? I guess you can. Should this be an angle? This might be better as an angle. Turbulence, direction, turbulence, angle. Kind of like float, welcome. But this would be a float, and then 0. Which I think, what is it, vector? Where does it point if it's 0? To the right, probably. And then the actual turbulence, actually let's make it 118. So it points to the left. And then the turbulence is gonna be vector 2 from angle, turbulence angle. Is it normalized? Unit rotated, equivalent. Is it normalized or not? Unit vector, so it is normalized. Times turbulence string. Did I? Another R went missing. That's crazy. Why am I struggling with my R's today? Wait, did I just say an alright blood? If not, good evening to you as well. Alright. Let's check. So now I should be pushing to the left. Sometimes I read a chat message and I'm so distracted by my own thoughts of what I'm doing that I forget to say hi. Even though I read the message, then I remember like minutes later, so I wanted to make sure that this time I didn't. But yes, I said it twice. And what is happening? It pushes us up. Oh! But when I move down, it pushes us to the left. So left and up? But why is the up so much stronger? And why doesn't it actually affect? I'm so confused. That can't be correct. I feel like it pushes up more than it pushes to the left. Oh, is it radiance? Is it in radians? Yes. What is radians again? It's like pi... like a fraction of pi or something, what? Air from Euler. Degrees, angle degrees. Pi divided by 180. I guess I could just do radian vector from degree chili script vector red vector red. Is it actually a thing? I guess I would have to do math. Is it a math function? Math. Math F. Big to red kudo. Chili script. Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's just like red and then the whole thing. Turbulence strength multiplied and the new line. No. Turbulence strength. Turbulence direction equals form angle and then turbulence direction. There we go. There should be some red math in there somewhere. Yeah, I put it as a dot after as if it was a member function of a float. It didn't make sense. Just call it without anything, without math. It is just available. Okay, so now we get pushed to the left, which is exactly what we wanted. And then if we rotate it 90 degrees, it would push us top left or bottom left, depending on how it rotates. I assume it's actually it would push us bottom right because it's counterclockwise, clockwise. So the vector, no, it pushes us down. It's 90 degrees. It should push us down. It does not push us at all. What? How is that possible? If 180 worked, then 90 should work too. What the hell? Like, it should push us somewhere, even at 0. Like, there's no possible way to make it not push in any direction. So why are we not getting pushed? Back to red. increase in radians. E is the value of x based on an easing function with a curve. Lower than -1. Remember, 1 is in odd 0. Huh? Vector turbulence angle, and then vector 2 from angle. Strength times turbulence direction. What is happening? Set a breakpoint and check what's happening. Turbulence direction x0 y1. So it is correct. And then turbulence would be times 18, which means it is not here, it's broken here. So if turbulence x is larger than 0 and position smaller threshold, boundary smaller threshold, effective turbulence larger 0. Effective turbulence larger 0 means it pushes to the right. Which it is not. The effective turbulence is y is larger than 0, it pushes down. Which it is. Then if the player position y minus the boundary is smaller than the threshold. So if the player is right boundary subtracted from the player, which is always did I flip it around again? Back to square one. Y position minus boundary size. It should be boundary size minus position, right? Because that is the one that sets in to 0 if we are on the boundary. And below 0, below 0 when we are close to the left. Wait. Boundary x minus position. So if you're on the right boundary, it is 0. If we are here, it's gonna be negative 100. But it's not correct. No, it's positive 100. It is correct. This should work. I just flipped it after the refit, after I removed everything. After I deleted the first 2 hours of the stream. So now it should turn on and push us down. It's working! Now it's just some diagonals. So the direction should be 45, which will push us to the bottom right. Right? Because it's clockwise, as demonstrated. And it is uniform as well, so we don't get slowed down much. Or we get slowed down uniformly. Okay. And the boundary thing works as well, so if you're in the bottom right corner, the turbulence turns off. Or if you like it below. Are we gonna be faster if we dash down and then up? Instead of dashing diagonal? I don't think so. Okay. So now, we could technically randomize it. But let's commit it first. So this is gonna be... Did I change something on the gameplay cycle that I forgot about? What is the layout mode thing? Surely it's fine, right? Most little ones. Node name, score, label. We didn't even do anything with the score label, did we? We removed score label, main layout, game over. Layout mode equals 2. Did I delete the score label on accident or something? Doesn't look like it. No, score label, there it is. It's still there. Layout mode 2. Nothing changed. It's fine. And then this one. Boundary size. Out of bounds margin. Is out of bounds. Viewport, get visible vect. Then boundary size. It is just a refactor. So let's push it separately or commit it separately. That is refactor. Boundary size. I guess it would be cache. Refactor boundary size in web or boss space. Or turbulence mechanic. Make boundary size member variable. But I will refactor boundary size for turbulence mechanic. this will be direction radius, get effective turbulence. Threshold. So that is the threshold. Safety threshold boundary thing. And this one is angle and strength. I guess I could commit these separately as well. Introduce variable angle to turbulence. And then this one is introduce safety margin before turbulence. Okay, didn't do anything on the list. Safety margin. And then variable turbulence strength angle. This would be angular. Strength was already kind of variable. Then activate Meganom's hitbox and put a neck weak spot. Is it something I want to do now? I guess so. I could just move the tail weak spot as well. Oh, we could also randomize the direction of the turbulence. But that would probably be in a range between around 180 because it shouldn't push you towards the boss. Randomize turbulence angle. Let's do that. Actually, no. We don't have that much time left. That's why I was thinking about not changing the hitbox thing. But I think we're gonna introduce it real quick. It shouldn't be too hard. Let me hide the screen real quick just in case so I don't leak anything. Open game dev, take key. Wait, do I have it on work files? Probably. Work files. Key. Turbulence sprite. Like, that's funny. We actually had some kind of turbulence sprite already for when we did the trail. That we didn't use. Maybe we can reuse that at some point. I don't know how it looks actually, but that might be something. There's a boss. Boss aquatic. Yeah. We export overlay. And then this is gonna be duplicated, and then we put one on the neck. Did I make it just red? I don't know how it looks if we change the multiplier thing. It's so weird. It's fun. Yeah. Make it darker. Why does it so much? It looks so much better on the tail. For some reason. Welcome back, Asu. Pisu, misu. Crimson Chin, Meganom. Should we do the entire belly? Is it good? But also, it's kind of weird. I wonder why. Looks weird compared to the other one. Maybe it's just because it's multiplied. No, it doesn't look anything like it. Why is that? Huh. There we go. That's what I wanted. There you go. That's fine, right? Chody. God damn it, put it on the wrong one. Select that, put the tail, delete. Do that. Save. And then this will be exported. Oh, I didn't show it! No! Why didn't no one tell me? You couldn't see. Yeah, I painted a new weak spot. God damn it. And now I have to hide it again. I thought you wanted to hide. I wanted to hide opening the file because I didn't want you to see the file browsing. I didn't actually want to hide the thing I'm doing. It's fine, it's fine. Assets, bytes. Yeah, my bad. I did communicate that poorly. Let's rename this. Well, Texture Atlas, Weak Spot. Fanny. Weak Spot Final. Okay, close it. And then we have them here. One with the tail and one with the belly. Let's check where we actually set that because I forgot. Weak spot, texture preload, weak spot. And that is the tail. So we kind of have to refactor that and rename that. Maybe. But also... on weak spot heads. I guess I put a final on everything. Toggle weak spot visible false. Weak spot multiple box. I guess it would be toggle weak spot visible. Toggle final weak spot visible. Actually, should we just enable it when we initialize the final phase? I guess we could. Already made it better, that's fine. Oh. So here it would be I do want it to be a function, let's just remind. So that's gonna be toggle final weak spot visible on and off. And then this will be weak spot final. And then toggle weak spot visible true. And then we tested. So now, when he goes into the final phase after we hit his tail, he should actually show a glowing belly or neck, because you can only see the head. Nice. Doesn't look great, because kind of messed it up. Maybe it should only be the neck. I think I will fix it real quick. We just erase the edges a little, because it kind of spills over. And then we erase the belly portion. Just get the neck. Like that. Maybe even just that, just the crimson chin. No, I think it should be the entire thing. Although it would probably cut off here. Like this. And then it won't overlap with the arms, so it won't look so weird. Looks good to me. Does it though? Maybe it should go only to here. I think that makes more sense. Maybe. No, I think it will look better in game if it goes over here. It just looks weird because we can see the actual belly as well. But I think in game this might make more sense. How much do we see in game anyway? We see. I see do see quite a bit. Yeah, I think it's fine if we just go to up there. Maybe remove a little bit. Like that. Make it actually capsule shape so we can align with the hitbox better. That should be fine. Export that to assets, sprites. Okay. See how it looks. Has it really been 3 hours already? That's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. Also, Alien, is Kick working? Or did you give up? Did you give up trying? Are you too afraid of getting caught every time? Yeah, it seems to be working, but I also just checked, so it probably updated, so... Could have been either way. Alright. Crimson Chin Nom Nom entered the fight. So now we give him a hitbox. Didn't try today, just have it open. I see. Alright. Where's the hitbox? Yeah. Just duplicate that and put it on the body and then move it over. I guess I could just reset. And then actually adjust the size here. Wait, do I want it? With the position reset or no? Shouldn't the condition shape be reset position wise and only the weak spot itself should move? Oh. Is it gonna be no problem when I set the animation? I guess I should actually move it during the animation without a keyframe. So this will be not be rotated, only the parent defines the position. So that should be fine. Save that, and then we'll make the reset. Add that, and then add that, and then this one should be reset, and then this one should be rotated. Like so. Should I make it a circle? It might be better as a circle, but also adjust the values. That's not really. It's probably gonna fit pretty well if we adjust the values a bit. But it's gonna be 75 and this is gonna be 300. And then put that there. And if he moves, it moves with him. That should be fine. And I should probably assign the other sprites just to see how it actually looks with the other one. Yeah, texture. Oh, that is very generous. Which it should be, but also put it more centered. I guess it can be smaller. There's no need to have it this big if the export is so small anyway. Oops. Moved it weirdly again. The tail. Should probably have this assigned while I'm doing the adjustment, so it's actually easy to see me. Seems good to me. And then our text. I don't need to hide it, it's fine. And then we got this. Oops. Atlas. This one. And then what was the alpha value waiting? Oh. Was it? 50. 50, I think. Okay. Let's see. But I can't see because we don't have any logic attached yet. Which means this is gonna be weak spot hitbox, weak spot final hitbox. And then here he's gonna get no, it's gonna be final weak spot hitbox. Oops. Weak spot. And then he's gonna get final weak spot. And final weak spot hitbox. Like that. Then we move them up. And then we save and connect them. Wait. There we are. Wait, what's this? What is it not 2D? Is it even used? Weak spot. Show and hide. Toggle weak spot visible. Toggle weak spot visible. It is not used anymore. Which means why is it weak spot texture? Is it weak spot the body? In this case? Yes. And the weak spot hit. Okay, so we don't need this. And this one is final weak spot. And then we assign that here. What is body polygon? Where's that used? It is not used. And then this is gonna be weak spot texture, and then we copy this on weak spot hit and make this a On final re-export it. Toggle final re-export visible false. Final re-export hitbox set false. Road box false. Take damage. So 10,000. What is the true? Is re-export, okay. And then the face doesn't matter. I guess it's fine the way it is, because I'm not sure what we are gonna do when we hit the weak spot. I guess you would initiate the final phase again. Kind of. And change the direction and push the player back. But now I just want to know if it's actually working. It is not. And it is hard to hit too, kind of, because it's so clunky. So if you want to avoid the head and just hit the chin, you have to go diagonally up. But since you're being pushed, you can't actually diagonally dash like that. So you have to get it on the way to the right instead. I guess it doesn't matter that much if you're in the flow. Or why is it not enabled? Because it never enables. Oh, toggle weak spot visible. And then we need to toggle it on. Hit deferred true. And hurt box true as well. So these are true. Since it's been a few days, any progress on the new models? Unfortunately, did not have much time to work on the models. I wish. So no, not much. I did a little bit yesterday, but it was more like playing around with head rigging techniques. But it wasn't actually... I guess I can use it, the progress I made. But technically... it was meant for practice, not actually for... Why can't I hit him? Is it because it's overlapping with the... Sage? You really don't like this model, do you? But it's good to know. So do you even like the one that I like, the first one, the new bunny witch, the mecha witch Kohari? Did you like that one? Or would you rather see the adult punk Kohari? You showed the punk ones. And that one you really liked? Is that one I'm hearing? Why is he so hard to hit? Is he hitbox actually overlapping with the... Yes, kinda. But it should also be returning off when we hit the weak spot. Where is it happening? So final true. I like the punk idea. Alright. That one will still take quite a while. Not very far along on that one, to be fair, to be honest. I do have the body, but didn't even start on the head and the clothing at all. Never said chibi isn't good. Okay. Final weak spot hitbox monitor false. Third box false. So why is it not happening? Maybe I do have to make it larger. But I feel like I can't hit it at all. Something is wrong. But I do miss the candy horns. Oh! Is that what it's about? The front candy horns? Because the punk model didn't have those either. Oh, am I not hitting it? I like memeing the lizard. Well, neither of the other two will have the lizard ears. So I guess you gain some, you lose some every time. I'm surprised we can't hit the weak spot at all. What is happening? Is it even active? Is it connected properly? Oh, wait. I know why. It's a different function, so it didn't even connect it. Where's the weak spot connected? On weak spot hit. It doesn't say that it's connected, but it should be. Guess it would be here node. On. Wait, when is this called? Area owner on weak spot hit. Handle hit. Oh. If area owner is boss. That's not the player. So we have to override that. And the hit. Which we're kinda already doing. Do we have to override it or do I have to... I guess we would not hold super so we can change the type. But also... I guess we would do... If... Area owner... Megadon 4... And... Phase... Current phase... It doesn't have the current phase. Gameplay... Oh god... Oh no... Actually, never mind. We gotta do it differently. That means you get more redeems? No. So we already have more redeems. I added a couple. But yeah, I guess so. If there's new stuff, I will probably add some more redeems as well. I wonder, what do you like about the models? Cuteness, looks, and concept, expressions? You mean the new models or this one? It's mostly... Honestly, I just want to have a model that is, like, expressive enough so I can express myself, which this one is. That is why I'm not switching back. But yeah, the new ones... I like because it's very unique. Like the ones with the widget and the robot body is very, very unique, and it is also a lot higher resolution. And has like game references. It's a very unique and customizable and customized model. So I just like how that looks in general. And I already have so many cool ideas switching between like cat ears and bunny ears and stuff like that. That also seems like a lot of fun. I like that it doesn't look like a lizard anymore because I added actual pufferfish fins this time that don't look like a lizard. I know you guys will miss that, but in the punk model I like because it's more mature. So I have to be less... Well, I don't really have to be careful, but it's kind of weird to have like a model that people could interpret as childlike when I'm like talking about more mature themes. So the punk model I like because it gives me a little bit more freedom and a little bit less worry on the things I'm saying. Which is not really a thing, but I feel like it could give people the wrong impression sometimes. And I feel like it would also be weird if people make spicy fan art. If the model is on visually the younger side, let's put it that way. And I like, yeah, the mature model is probably the one that represents my personality the best in terms of like the laid back brat punk. Well, I'm not really punk, but like the brat vibes and gamer vibes a little bit. Because I'm like planning to do some more esports related outfit styles and maybe headphones and stuff like that. No big booba. No big booba. But that model could technically have a booba slider. I might make a booba redeem for memes. Never got the Kalkura hate, for instance, because of the model. Yeah, it's because it was very childlike, and obviously when people start drawing spicy fan art for something that is on the younger side thematically, or the pedophile hunters come out of the woodworks. Let's put it that way. But I'm pretty sure, like from everything that you hear, like of the stories of the person behind the avatar, she actually looks like a child in real life, despite being an adult. So, you know, people take it so seriously for no reason. Yeah, I think in that specific instance, it's a popularity thing. She's just too popular, or she was too popular, and that always draws hate. Like even Iron Mouse, you think about that. Even Iron Mouse is getting hate for the dumbest shit. And she's like the most wholesome person in the world, basically. And even she's getting hate. It's just a VTuber thing. Like it's a I don't know. There's just too many kids on the internet, I guess. She got hate for her voice, which is stupid. Wait, what is that? For her voice? Is it a 4? Did you just insert an EL, or did you actually mean to say something else? Yeah. There's some dumb things, like there's some very dumb controversies in the VTuber space, that's for sure. Right, actually, we're kind of running out of time a little bit. Where was I? Oh, thoughts on 3D models? I forgot to reply to that. I probably won't do 3D. I'm really bad at 3D. It would take months for me to learn how to do a 3D model. So that one I would have to commission. That's currently impossible. I would have to learn Blender from scratch, basically. So that's not an option. I would love to have one, though. I would love to do some 3D stuff, VR chat and stuff like that. Okay, handle hit. That one... Oh, we have to... I think we just have to go into the on weak spot hit. And instead of making a new one, segment it into final phase and not final phase. So this would be if phase. Oh, we can just use else down here. Else. And then on final weak spot hit. And I guess it would be I guess you could put this bit low. I think we have to execute it the other way. Do we need a second one? This one would be here. And then there would be a second one here. No. Would be here. And then there would be a different one. Okay, wait. It is different. It's if phase, if current phase. Yeah, it's very different. If current phase equals final, then we do one final weeks with it. And return. Like this. And since it's not called from the outside anyway, we can put it in here. And remove that. And final return false, take damage 10k, true, false. Okay, let's test that real quick. And if that's working, I'm gonna go on my dinner break. In time, are we in time? Wait, what was it a reference to? Getting hate? I'm gonna get hate in time as well, once I'm big enough. Yay! Looking forward to that. Probably wasn't meant in that way, but... Oh. What am I doing? What? I still can't hit it? Are you joking? Ah! I thought this would work. Initiate final phase. Force and focal visibility true, which is working. The default monitorable true. And help box monitoring true. It's not enabled the help box. I feel like it's still not gonna work. But there is a chance that it is blocking be hit because we're getting hit first, which shouldn't be the case. Wait, I think I know what it is. It's the wrong one. It's converting it to the old version, which is why I can't see a new one. So it would be on player 4 and the hit. If area owner super handle. Where do I have to? Area owner on weak spot hits. But I will just copy it to test. Then this will be for if this doesn't work, I'm gonna call it because I don't think I can debug this right now. Let's write it down. Neck weak spot and then fix hitbox not registering. Oh. Yeah, there's something else wrong. Is it the same? On hotbox area entered, where's it? Wait! Why is it different? Take damage. How? Wait, that's hotbox, I'm stupid. Monitoring. Yeah, this is the same, I don't know. It's on the same layer too. Yeah. Visibility on. Yeah, it should be the same, but it's not. It's fine. We fix it tomorrow. So let's reload this. And then what do we have left? This is the new hitbox. And then this is final re-export visible. And the toggles, which probably should have this still active. Where is it? Outbox, this one. And then this is the fun phase, final export, initial final export, texture and logic. Hitbox. Initial final export text and hitbox. Introduce final export texture and hitbox. Okay, commit. Save, close. Watch it. We did stuff. We're productive, did make some progress. I'm happy with the progress we made. And tomorrow we will be continuing with the hitbox and some of the final boss mechanics. Probably start giving the boss some attacks, which I thought we would get to today, but we did some progress anyway. So this has been it for the game dev section. So thank you all for watching so far. I will be back at 8 PM after dinner, and we will play some eugenics. So I will be back in like 20 to 30 minutes. And YouTube people, don't forget, there will be a new URL because the YouTube stream has restarted. So see you around on the other side. See you soon.